Join me in pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please mute your phones if you have it. I'd like to wish everybody a happy upcoming Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes, I did say Merry Christmas, I didn't say holiday. Everybody's received a copy of the minutes from our November 1st meeting. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be looked at?
Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Motion approved, it's been seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
6 ayes. That's all for signatures. Any mail? Just like that. Okay. Commissioners, Mr. Strong.
Good evening. I'll just report briefly that the commissioners today, among a few other things they did, we did agree to have the highway director enter into an agreement to buy a new piece of equipment, pardon me, today for a mowing machine to mow the roadsides and trim the limbs back. So we're going to encumber we're going to encumber $260,770.40 out of this year's highway budget to buy that piece of equipment. And that will allow us to retire the old tractor and mower that has been in the repair shop more than it has been on the road this year. This is a specialized machine. We went to Commissioner Munson and Director Haviland and I went to Greensburg last month and saw this machine demonstrated, and it's a pretty impressive piece of equipment, and hopefully it'll take care of our needs for a long time. So,
Dale, how much did you say?
$260,000.
$260,770.40.
Does it have a microwave?
Yeah, and a TV.
I don't think it has a microwave, does it, Jerry? Okay. It does have a bulletproof cab, because it's the nature of the machine. It's chewing up these trees alongside the road, and there's a lot of stuff flying in the air, so the operator needs that level of protection. It's very impressive. It will walk sideways and do everything you can imagine. So we were impressed enough with it to make the purchase. So in about 6 or 7 months, we'll have it here ready to go to work. So who wants the roads done first? John? You?
Ours are usually pretty good.
Okay.
All the farmers do pretty good on need to get to the hilly area.
Yeah, okay. We made a few department head appointments today. Not all of them. We'll finish that work up later this month. And we took care of several others, a couple of 144s, and miscellaneous normal business. But there's one thing I would like to bring up to the council tonight, give you something to think about here. How many of you are aware that the Redevelopment Commission is establishing a TIF district in the city? Okay, have you given any thought to what this means to your work going forward?
We have, but what can we do about it?
Well, Bob, there is a public hearing on this matter
And before the redevelopment committee, you think they're gonna change their mind just because of us?
Well, my question to you is, do you have an interest in how this is going to affect the county's budget?
Yes, I do.
Okay. This public hearing is going to be December the 23rd at 9 a.m. at City Hall. Now, I would urge you to give this serious consideration and serious study of what this means going forward. This would be a 25-year arrangement. And the potential, depending on what side of the street you're standing on, will be significant.
We were never given the boundaries of that tip. Do you know what those boundaries are?
It's my understanding the boundary maps are available for review.
That's what the mayor told us too, but he never brought it with him.
Okay. Well, perhaps you and I can go over there together and look at them.
Yeah, maybe we can.
But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. There's a lot of things to consider here. So if the council wants to take a position on this, December the 23rd is the day to do it.
Well, Dale, let me ask you this question.
9 a.m.
What date is it?
December 23, 9 a.m.
Which day?
Yes.
Dale, do you have any idea of the dollar amount that could be associated with this? If they would do that?
Right now, I don't know how to calculate that.
Right.
You can't.
I don't know if the,
They get all raises, all over assessments as of January of next year, correct?
January of this year.
2022,
Yes.
they get the total improvement on all vacant lots. Is that true?
Yes.
You put a multi-million-dollar property on a $20,000 lot and they get the full tax on that property.
Yes. And it is retroactive to January 1 of 2022,
Did you see a time, Dale?
9 a.m.
I did not catch that part. The date I did, I kept hearing it.
And our budget is set for multifamily and commercial as of January 2022 for the next 25 years.
Yes.
No additional funds whatsoever on the multifamily and commercial.
The assessed value for your taxation purposes would be frozen at the January 1, 2022 value. I just wanted to remind you, make you aware of this, and this is something you need to pay attention to. Now, where you go from here, who knows? But if you have any objection, if you have any questions or concerns, you should be there and asking questions and voicing your concerns.
And do you know what the purpose of this is, what they're planning for their money they're getting?
I have not seen a plan.
That'd be a nice thing to have ahead of time, wouldn't it?
Well, one would think, yes. Now, I attend those meetings as an ex officio member, but I'm not a voting member of that
I understand.
board. So I get to sit in on the meetings and listen to that, and that's as far as that goes.
You rehabilitate
So,
the Brad Cords.
just be aware of this situation, will you? Because it's gonna mean something important to everyone involved.
What's the name of that board you're talking about?
It's a redevelopment.
Redevelopment Commission.
At this point in time, they've already got $1 million to work with, but they want more.
They do have a little over $1 million in their accounts. But, my advice is do not take yourselves out of the discussion. Okay? I'm not going to stand here and say it's good or bad or ugly or whatever, but you should not take yourself as fiscal body out of the discussion.
Does a TIF have to be 25 years?
Yes. It does.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is all dictated by statute.
But it's up to area planning and commissioners to approve it, basically, to get it to the point of discussion.
Yes, area planning did have a public hearing on that, isn't that right, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so, and there is another public hearing with the redevelopment commission on January 23, 9 a.m. at City Hall. That will be the final one.
January 23 or December 23?
Thanks, Scott. December 23.
Okay.
I'm getting
Somebody's
old,
got to.
getting ahead of myself. So, I just want to leave you with that thought. We won't dwell on that. I don't want to take up.
Are we going to have to give tax dollars back then if they set it for 2022? That we've already collected and used for county? If it's set for 2022, we've already got that money allotted.
That's why you should pay attention to this, Bob.
I'm trying to.
Okay. I'll move on and get off this podium and let the people that are here for business do their business. I just want to say that I'm aware that this is the last meeting of the year for some of you, and I want to tell John Clark and Mike Winnet that it's been my pleasure to work with you two fellows for the last. John, you the last 4 years, and Mike, you the last, I've lost track of how long you've been here.
About 11.
Okay, it's been my pleasure to work with you fellows. We've had some pretty interesting experiences together. We've accomplished a lot, and we've still left a lot of work on the table at the same time, but I think all in all, we can call our years together successful. I don't know what the future holds for either one of you, but whatever it is, I hope it's exactly what you want in life. So I wish you both well. This may, I won't say goodbye, I'll just say so long for now, because I'm sure we'll encounter each other one way or another in the future. Kayla's not here, or I would speak to her, but she's been a pleasure to work with also. So, God willing, I'll be here this time next month to welcome the new members of the council, and I hope that they can be as successful as this group has been. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dale.
wish you all well, and just don't go away, come and visit us whenever you can, Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Dale. I'd like to recognize Dan Parker from EDG. Dan, you didn't have anything, did you?
No, but I just echo Dale's sentiments to both you and John.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, there is no old business. Moving on to new business. Michelle Dudley.
I'm here for 144 approval for 3 full-time people. 2 of them are currently part-time. I sent everybody a copy via email and explained how those openings came about. They are all vacant positions. They are not new openings, so I'd ask
The
that.
funding's already there.
Pardon?
The funding's already there.
Yes. Yes. So I would ask that you approve the,
Say one or two of them
144.
are part-time,
pardon,
one or two of them are part-time?
2.
Two of them.
And Jack has experience with the his former sheriff's department. He's been through the academy. He also has facilitator experience. Matt is currently part-time. He was at the Department of Corrections for several years. And Andrea has case management experience with juveniles, and she was at the Henry County Sheriff's Department. So they all have experience in the field.
So you have one full-time, two part-time, is what you're asking?
Pardon?
What was the number of one full-time, two part-time?
No, two of them are currently part-time. I want to put them up to full-time. And then one of them is a new hire on to full-time.
So you're asking for 3 total?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the 3, 144, and Michelle.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Kay to approve the 144 request, and second by Jim. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Bill McDaniel.
Okay. Okay, first part of this has to do with the solar committee, solar energy committee. We have Mr. Mason Gordon is here, and then also as is Commissioner Strong with this. And what it will be is, let you speak a little bit more about what the committee is going to be is to work with the county and then also with the developers of the solar energy farm to with the various county agreements. And so, go ahead and explain. And we also have the fortune that the county attorney, plan commission attorney, has also worked with these projects over in Rush County. So our attorney's going to be a great help.
Yeah, and I'll keep it very brief tonight, but thank you, Bill, for the introduction. Thank you for having me tonight. As Bill said, I'm Mason Gordon. I'm with, I work for HWC Engineering. One of my clients is Hoosier Solar, and I'll pass around some business cards here. Hoosier Solar is a solar developer looking at developing a utility scale solar project in Rush and Fayette counties. The vast majority of it is in Rush County, but there will be a portion that's in Fayette County. At the current moment, we're working on preliminary engineering, which I'm quickly finding out it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to put together the engineering documents that are necessary to get the exhibits in front of the various counties so that you all have confidence in saying yay or nay on one of those projects. So we're in the process of putting together those preliminary documents. And as Bill mentioned, we've kind of come up with a committee idea based from Rush County. So Rush County was in a pretty similar position with you with a project called Bellflower Solar, where a vast majority of it was in Henry County, but there was a small portion that was in Rush County. So they went through that approval process about this time last year, and they decided to adopt a committee approach where they had some representatives from the commissioners and the council and area plan survey, so on and so forth, to just have a smaller group of individuals that can kind of serve as a sounding board for those engineering plans and those agreements that will be drawn up. So we came to Bill and said, hey, we're not quite ready to put forward any sort of planning or zoning application. We understand there's lots of work that happens with these projects before they land before the county council, but we said, you guys haven't been through a solar project before, and we encourage you to, I guess, just begin to think about how you want to go through that approval process. And as a result, we've made a presentation to the Area Plan Commission, and Bob was there that night to hear that presentation. We brought John McCain, who is the Economic Development Director for Rush County, over, and he spoke a little bit about their committee and how those agreements came together. And moral of the story, we're getting closer and closer to maybe having something to present, and I think our strategy will be we'll go through the approvals in Rush County first, because there are kind of varying phases to this development, and the earlier phases are in Rush County. So kind of the critical path to get to construction in those earlier phases in Rush County. So we'll go through kind of the permitting process in Rush County first, and then work in Fayette County after that. So I guess moral of the story, looking to answer any questions that you've got or
Did you
work on the
explain
committee.
then the reason for and the particular agreements that we're going to need both the commissioners and the council on, since they're the decision making, but the various type of agreements that we really need to go through?
Yeah, so there are theoretically generally 3 agreements associated with a renewable energy project. One would be a decommissioning agreement, which essentially dictates the terms, and if there was an event that would cause the project to need to be decommissioned, and who pays for that and what that costs, and whose responsibility that decommissioning falls on. Generally, that is an agreement that would be passed by the county commissioners. Then you also have a road use agreement that essentially works out the details on, obviously there's going to be construction equipment on roadways and culverts, and delineating whose responsibility it is to bring those roads back up to the condition in which the developer found them, essentially. And luckily that responsibility falls on the developer. And then the third agreement would be the economic development agreement. And really that's up to you all to decide how exactly you want to structure kind of the economic benefits surrounding the projects. But lots of communities will enter into an economic development agreement and do some sort of tax abatement that's then followed by an agreement for some sort of economic development payment. And all those terms and conditions are negotiated in that economic development agreement. So your all's responsibility and all that would be the economic development agreement, and making sure that the economic benefit of the project is reflected in your all's ability to make investments in Fayette County. And the solar committee itself would kind of be the first sounding board to go back and forth with those terms and conditions, if that makes sense. But ultimately, that committee has kind of that initial say, but then you all are ultimately the body that would pass anything related to the agreement.
Would you
Might
explain a
make
little bit
comment.
now about what's happening then with the actual tax, with the development, what's happening to the actual property taxes?
Yeah, so, Bob, did you have a question or a comment?
That was the same thing. You might see what the assessment occurs when you do this.
Yeah, so, right now, the land that we would be developing on would be ag land that's currently has an assessment of about $1,300 an acre. The state of Indiana quickly realized through the early years of these types of developments that there was all sorts of varying assessments for renewable investments. And so the state outlined and dictated kind of what the assessment for a renewable energy project is. So it would move from an ag classification to a utility classification, which, like I said, kind of the ag base is about $1,300 an acre of assessed value. We move up to about a $13,000 per acre assessed value, plus that's just the real property, plus there would be obviously all the multi-million-dollar personal property that would be invested in the equipment for the project as well.
Yeah.
And then yes, I think I covered your question.
Yeah,
believe,
I
right? Yeah.
think you did, yeah.
Well, with the money that we're looking at possibly losing in the TIF, that'd definitely be a help to the county, that's for sure.
And for a community, I'm originally from Rush County, and work in rural communities across the state, and you don't frequently have the opportunity as a rural community to have millions of dollars invested in your community in one project. And I think it's a great opportunity. At all times, we see things going in the wrong direction as far as revenues for local governments in rural places, but this is an opportunity to kind of structure that economic development agreement in a way that you can capture some of that additional revenue and be able to invest in roads and bridges and all the wonderful stuff you guys get to invest in but don't have the money to invest in. So it's one benefit of these developments.
Is the Rush Henry County project, is that the one up southeast of Dunnery? What's going on right there?
Yeah, correct, yeah. And that's, so the developer I'm representing is Hoosier Solar, not the same
Okay.
developer. That was Light Source BP was the developer of that project. But it is under construction right now, and I encourage you, if you haven't driven up there and seen what it's all about, I highly encourage you to do so. And keep in mind the roads are not in the best of condition right now, but because of that road use agreement, once construction's complete, there's still lots of construction traffic. Those roads will get improved, so we hear
It's only
that.
about a quarter mile south of 40, but you can't see it from 40.
No, there's lots of natural trees and
That's where
screening.
the old railroad
Yeah.
bed used to run.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome.
And I think I've made the comment, I'd rather see the solar than the wind farms. you don't even notice them. It's good.
Yeah, and we understand that, I mean, these things don't go without controversy, and we're here to say you've now got my business card, and please do reach out if you hear any sort of questions or concerns, or I'm happy to talk with you about anything you've got there, so.
And you can give one to Vivian. Vivian is an incoming county
Yeah, and
council.
I talked to Mark Bacon the other day,
Okay, yeah.
commissioners.
Yep, I know Mark real well.
Yeah, and he gave me a name of another commissioner, which who was part of the project, and I failed to remember his name, but.
Paul Wilkinson, maybe?
Yeah, Paul, yeah, he was done by our phone the other day.
Okay, great, yeah. Paul is a county commissioner from Rush County that lives like,
But he's going off the board,
yeah, so
right?
you could throw a football from his house and hit the one in at the Bellflower project there in northern Rush County. He is retiring from the commissioners in Rush County, but a tremendous resource for you.
I thought so too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
But now, how much flexibility is there in the sort of things that you can, say, hang the money for in the funds generated through the economic development agreement?
And so I would say I'm not a financial advisor or kind of, an expert by any means as far as local government finance goes, but essentially the economic development payments kind of allow you to bypass a lot of the DLGF requirements in the sense of, a normal tax dollar would obviously be divvied up between township and school corporation and county and so on and so forth, but these economic development payments would essentially go into an account that you all have discretion over. So there's a lot more flexibility going the economic development payment route versus just allowing those, to come into your normal tax coffers, so.
And that was 10 years out?
All those terms can be negotiated, yeah, and I think the Rush County abatement was for 10
I
years.
thought he told me 10 years.
Mhm.
Randolph County didn't do any tax abatement. They had all the payment go into economic development, period.
Well, and so I would bet
So
they did an
could spend the money
abatement.
the way they wanted.
I would bet that they did an abatement, but the economic development payment brought the money back in. So essentially, that is the kind of the process to get your money in your economic development fund, is that you're
Yeah.
abating the taxes, but then negotiating the payment to come back to you. So it's essentially a wash from the developer's perspective. They're even either gonna pay it in their property taxes, or they're gonna pay it in an economic development payment. So, and you have much more flexibility with the economic development payment.
He also told me that accounting firm that they hired in Indianapolis.
Baker
figured-
Tilly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
figured what the taxes would be. And then they also rolled over their fees into what the company had also paid back.
Yep,
So
yep.
that was all rolled into.
Yeah, because that doesn't, what I was thinking about is who's paying for the specialists, the tax, the accountants, and then also the attorneys.
Right, and we would, as a developer, would want you to, have the resources you need to make those things happen. So generally, those are paid for by the developer.
Huh?
And Baker Tilly is a great firm. I don't know who all you use for your finances now, but Baker Tilly, Jason Simler specifically, is the accountant that Rush County works with. It's a great resource, so happy to connect you guys with him if you need that.
Do you have an approximate timeline for starting with Fayette County? Because I think we'd kind of like to get started because we don't have, because I think the more that the council and the commissioners get accomplished before we come before the area plan commission for the special exception is probably the better. Come close to actually having agreements ready.
And I would say that, like I mentioned, we're, kind of critical path to construction is getting those Rush County approvals. So we're actively pulling together those documents in Rush County now. We actually have a draft economic development agreement in front of the Rush County Solar Committee. So I think that's kind of happened since the last time that we spoke. So we're progressing down the Rush County path, and I would say that obviously we're, here at the end of the year, it's going to be 2023 before we kind of get to that level with you all, but we would hope that at some point in 2023 we can get those things negotiated.
But, Dale. And I take it you'd also like to get us started as soon as possible with this too, with the negotiations, I assume also the council members. So, but we did make a suggestion as far as some of the members. I think that as far as members to be on, I mean, this would be something for the incoming members to think about. I think one in particular, and whoever else would be in the council next year. I think Bob's been very valuable being on the actual area plan commission, and I think he's probably been a pretty good liaison for you guys between the plan commission. I think Bob would probably be a good member to also actually have on that. Hope I didn't speak out of turn for you, Bob.
Well, I was hearing my name mentioned. What are you volunteering me for?
Oh, to be on the committee, the solar committee.
You need another committee segment.
That's why I prefer being a drunk over an alcoholic. No more meetings to go to.
Anything else, Bill?
Yeah, and all I want to do then on my personal level is to the incoming council, and I know Vivian's aware of it, but at the February meeting, I'll be coming to the council. I don't know how much of an additional I'll need to pay for have someone under contract to do the inspection services while I'm recuperating from my knee replacement. So so just to let you know, and I spoke with the commissioners, and they're allowing me to get started with that. And my oldest brother's coming up. He's coming up from Texas and Houston. He's going to help take care of me for a couple of weeks. So hopefully by the middle of February or the end of February, I'll be able to, I'll have the surgery taken care of. But so that's just to let you guys, as a courtesy, let the, Bob and Vivian, of course, are both very, very familiar with what I'm going through. So I just want to let the rest of the commissioners who aren't aware of what's happening with me through that, just give you a heads up, and then I'll be coming back in February to request some additionals. And I know I'm going to be returning money, so I want to then compare that with how much money I've actually returned back to the county general also, and try to compare those itself. And unless I have someone under contract, I know that I can't encumber anything such as what I still have in the contractual services line item. That's all the extra that I have.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you. And
Okay, next up, ordinances. Approved. We have ordinance number 2022-06, an ordinance allowing deposits of county funds to employee health savings accounts. Everybody knows what that is, I'm sure. Is there a motion to approve or disapprove?
So moved.
John had a motion to approve.
Second.
Bob seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Sends over signatures. Ordinance number 2022-07, an ordinance allowing a stipend in lieu of health insurance for Fayette County employees eligible for Medicare.
How many employees does this cover? Do we know?
It's a fluid number, but currently 3.
3. And they don't get the stipend unless they have the Medicare supplement insurance, right? Correct?
That's the intent.
That's the intent. So they don't necessarily have to prove it.
The way your ordinance is currently worded, no, they do not have to prove that they have actually purchased the Medicare.
How do the commissioners feel about that? The stipend for the employees, the intent is to help them have some Medicare health supplement, right? For $280 a month if it's just individual, and $495 a month if it's couple. The way the ordinance is written, the proposed ordinance is written, they don't necessarily have to prove that they've got Medicare, Medicare supplement. So in other words, we just kind of write them a check and take them at their word.
Well, Scott, what's the problem if they don't? But they're not taking insurance from the county. That's the main thing, and making the county pay for their insurance.
Well,
I wasn't asking you, Councilman Stewart, I was asking the commissioners how they felt about that.
well,
The stipend's supposed to be for something. So they should have to, show that they have, in my mind, they should have to show that they're on Medicare.
Well, I mean that they have a Medicare Medicare supplement. That's what it's for, is to help pay for Medicare supplement. The way this ordinance is written, they don't have to, all they have to do is, they don't have to document to us that they have the Medicare supplement.
okay, I get you.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. That language is not in the ordinance.
Mhm.
There's one thing that our employees cannot hide, and that's their age. We know how old everyone is.
Amen.
Understood.
So when the commissioners put this ordinance in place a number of years ago, the intent was to incentivize people to move off the county's insurance policy and onto Medicare, and as a savings to the county, and it has saved the county a considerable amount of money over the years.
So what you're saying is that the savings is worth just letting them have the money, whether they have the Medicare supplement or not.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
For the county insurance.
You know, if they buy their own insurance and don't want Medicare, it's still savings to the county. I mean, no matter where they get their insurance from, if they're over 65.
It's been, I couldn't even tell you, I don't have no idea over the years how many of our employees have turned 65 while still working and got on Medicare benefits and then off the county's insurance. Records would show that would all have to be researched, but it is a significant financial savings for the county.
Okay.
And that's, you bring up a good point. There is no requirement to prove that you have a supplemental policy. But since Medicare does not require you do that, can or should we require it? I don't know. That's a legal question that I don't have an answer for.
If the intent is to give them money for that, and they're not doing that,
Consequences is in their last.
Whether they are or not,
whether they
They're
are
all-
right, they're still getting the money.
they're off the county's insurance though, and that is a
Okay.
savings.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair enough.
yeah. But you make a good point, and it might be time to adjust the language in that ordinance. To tell you the truth, I hadn't even thought about it that way.
But like I said, Dale, it's a savings you're looking at anyway, from the county's standpoint.
You bring up a valid point, Scott.
So what do you want to do with this?
Is there a motion on the floor?
Is there a motion? No.
I'll make a motion
I'll second it.
To approve?
to approve, sorry.
Jim's made a motion to approve. And seconded by Bob Stewart. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay? Someone say nay? Scott? Scott said nay. 5 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Just for the record, I don't mind having that incentive out, but I do think it's in the best interest of the county that we document that it's given for what it's given for.
Simple form with the policy.
A simple form.
Ordinance 2022-08, starting part-time wage scale. Numerically, it's north.
Oh, okay,
Is there a motion to approve?
What'd you say, Mike? What didn't hear you there?
Ordinance 2022-08, starting part-time wage scale.
I did compare that to the, I think it was the 2007 ordinance, which was for 2021. Might have been here before that, but I could find no problems with it. So I'll make a motion to
I'll second.
approve it.
John's made a motion to approve the part-time ordinance. Kay is seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Ordinance 2022-09, starting annual salary. Those are full-time.
Isn't this one the commissioners wanted to talk to council about?
Okay.
I couldn't hear her.
This is the one where there's the full-time salary ordinance.
You really want to do that?
I thought you were gonna do that.
Why did you think I was going
Well, it's not that you're prepared.
Well,
Are you? Thank you. Do it. I'm learning. I'm still learning.
We just got through in the bus, Dale.
Okay, Tracy, you tell me what to say here.
You know what me and Woody say.
There's a matter of contention on the starting salary ordinance and the EMA position.
right.
We have recently interviewed candidates to fill that position. And the starting salary is not what the candidates, or there's one candidate that I think the commissioners are leaning in favor of would not come to work for that salary. So that salary is too low. In order to get the candidate that the commissioners feel would be best for the job would require $50,000. So we, as fast as things have been moving here lately, that request didn't make it to your ordinance before it was being put together. So, do we as commissioners want to make a request that amount be increased to 50?
If we could, we get the 18 reimbursed, but I think the way I understand it, that's included in your, is that included in those figures you guys have there? Or that already is included is what I think Kid shows, so.
No. The 18 is not included in it.
Oh, it is not.
which is 40, then we get reimbursed 18 out of that, correct?
We get a $18,000 reimbursement from
Right.
the federal government, no matter what the salary is.
Right. And we talked during the budget process, we knew that the number required to be what you said, in the 50s, based upon what we were wanting that person to do, the job description. So, I mean, I was aware, I was fully expecting that. I was expecting, you know, in the 50, 53 range,
Mhm.
so.
Well, I guess, no matter how that position is funded, if you take the $18,000 reimbursement, while that's available, we can't just pay the extra unless the salary ordinance says so. You know, we can only pay what the salary ordinance authorizes. So, that's the question to the council, whether you would consider increasing that to
This
$50,000.
has to be redone, we have to meet again.
No, you can vote on it tonight.
Okay.
I'll just change page 2.
I mean, my suggestion just be to, if that's what we agree upon, to make the change. I mean, I remember this discussion, we knew that this was gonna have to change. It kind of was dependent upon what they found and how they wanted their job description to roll out.
I think we were kind of caught because Adrian didn't turn in
Right,
a budget, so we had to
last year.
advertise what was previously advertised,
Yeah,
so we were kind of stuck.
New report.
for budget purposes, you'll have to do an additional appropriation in your February.
Yeah. So, and we were planning on correcting it on the salary ordinance, but kind of got out of, in the wrong order here, so.
Folks, has the revised job description included any additional responsibilities from what existed prior? Commissioner Beaver?
That, yeah, that's a good question for.
She was getting ready to
I
talk.
think that, I would say, the responsibilities will be fulfilled.
Yes, I agree.
That's a good way of saying it. And I know especially maybe pursuing grants and things that we haven't maybe necessarily had.
So the expectations have increased.
They are definitely increased. And this person is very excited about doing things too, so we're very excited
I think
about it.
accountability will be different too.
Well, and it comes with a lot of experience, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Well, Adrian had
Is there a motion to approve the request of the commissioners, or
If you want to say it correctly, we'll make a motion.
Increase of $10,000.
This one too.
I can't make it.
What is your ask, is what we're trying to say.
Commissioners were asking for 50 instead of 40. Correct, Dale?
Yeah.
You're asking for 50 instead of 40.
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve $50,000.
Bob's made a motion to approve the emergency management position from 40,000 to 50. Is there a second?
Second.
John seconded that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 6 ayes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Explained it very well, Dale.
Now you owe us, Tracy.
Ordinance 2022-10.
Jane, do we want to hand correct it on here for us?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
In ordinance to fix the compensation of current employees pursuant to IC Code 35-2.5-3 to be effective 1/1/23. Is there a motion? motion to approve?
What?
Just,
Salary ordinance,
yeah,
07?
2022-10. You say it like that?
Okay, that's the wrong one. That's the one. I did do it. I'll make a motion to approve.
John Clark's made a motion to approve this ordinance. Okay,
Second.
second. All those in favor of passing, approving ordinance 2022-10, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? 6 ayes. Okay, Mr. J. We're under additional appropriations.
Jay? Yeah, I didn't know if you heard it.
This is a additional for the match money for the community crossings. Coming out of the MVH sub-fund.
And that's our match for how much money?
$247,288.50.
I think for the grant.
That's a match for the, what we spend on the roads.
Okay.
Yeah, the grant paid like $912,
Okay.
maybe something, yeah.
That was good then.
We're requesting $75,000. No?
You're on the wrong deck. Here's that deck. Yeah, there.
That's the
302.
additional.
No. 302 would be difference. $302,238.50.
Also move to approve the $302,238.50.
Second.
Motion made by John, seconded by Scott. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I'll just stay there.
Yeah, that's safety.
Hmm?
Safety. This is something different.
Okay.
You got reductions,
Jail. Medical services, amount requested $18,146.43. Search for that, or is it for your going away party?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, transferring 18,146.43 from the misdemeanor fund to cover medical expenses for quality correctional care, get us through the end of the year. I'm sure most of you already know those misdemeanor funds can only be used for things within the jail, so that will get us covered.
A motion to approve?
Making a motion to approve that transfer for jail misdemeanor fund to medical services.
Second it.
Motion by Kay to approve, seconded by Scott.
No, Bob.
Bob, sorry. Seconded by Bob. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries with 6-0.
Okay. Next thing that I had originally was coming tonight to ask for you guys to approve us to buy a new truck for the patrol division. Subsequently, we had found some money that is still in the budget. Kind of to give the backstory of this, Jeff Reedman You guys gave us $55,000 for vehicles this year. I think we spent around $4 for an Explorer that is being used for the SRO out at the high school. So it should be around 51 something left in there. The price of everything, like all across the board, inflation. The trucks we used to get for 26 or 27, they're now up to 37. Jeff had put in an order for 2 trucks at the beginning of the year. We were hopeful maybe we could get them. He bought them because he knew he was going to sell them because there's just a shortage. Didn't really think it was going to get done before I was done. But he messaged me a few weeks ago and said one was in production and almost done, and the other, the second one is actually being inspected this week. So good chance the first will be here before the end of the year. The second will arrive as well. We would like to purchase the one for sure because we have money in our budget. The gas budget, there was money put in the lit, and there was money put into our fund as well, if I'm getting that correctly. That there's quite a bit of money left in our gas budget, not in the lit fund. And our goal is to try to use some of that money so we can purchase both of those trucks. We have one truck that has about 160,000 miles on it. That's with one of our newer deputies. Our transport or our process server vehicle has $235,000 or 235,000 miles on Danny's Explorer. Yeah,
Durango?
Not worth that on his Durango. And I mean, every time he calls me, I'm waiting on him to say, hey man, the engine just blew up in this thing. It's done. So we are also adding a new deputy with the grant that we put in for at the beginning of the year that there is not a vehicle for right now. So we have the money in our budget to buy one. It would be great if we could transfer and use that money that's there to buy 2. That's your guys' call. I talked to Sheriff-elect Jones today. He's all in favor of doing that. I get him a fresh start on vehicles next year. The commissioners approved all that based on what you guys do this morning. Dale had some questions about moving vehicles around and getting rid of some of the older ones, maybe looking at other agencies if they need them or trade them in. We're super open to doing that. We gave one to Everton Volunteer Fire Department. I'll leave that to Zach if he wants to trade things in, whatever, next year. I don't think with whatever, I have 25 days left to go, I'll get in the business of trying to trade cars and do all that. But like to get 2. I think they're good price. John sends me a lot of stuff, great deals on vehicles. These are 2 brand new ones for a pretty good price, and not as good as we was getting, but I like to get 2. Definitely like the one that we have the money for. But
we budget a vehicle for next year.
What's that?
Did we budget a vehicle for next year?
Yeah, I think there's 55 in for next year too. So
Try to rotate them out like every year instead of
yeah.
Does that happen in the past?
We went that one year with COVID and didn't buy any and didn't cycle them through like we had been. But I mean, we're keeping good, reliable vehicles on the road. I don't think anybody's, they're bare basic package. I mean, we're not getting any bells and whistles with them, but they have been super helpful in a lot of the things we've dealt with, especially in the past few months. The trucks have just get places we used to not get when I first started in those Crown Vics. So keeping in the trucks is a good thing. I think a Durango here or there for office staff is good. They're a little cheaper, but not doing the same thing. So that's my spiel.
So he's requesting $34,444.05.
I'll make a motion that we make the transfer of $34,444.05 from account 20210 to 40030.
I'll second.
Okay, Scott has made a motion to approve the transfer request, and Kay has seconded that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. One last thing if I can, and not to take up any more time I know a lot of people want to get home, but this is probably my last council meeting, I would assume. And I just genuinely want to thank you guys. It has been the biggest honor in my career to be the sheriff and to work with such good people. I really feel like when I took office, sheriff's deputies were starting out at $31,000 a year. I think next year we're at 46 or 47. It's been a game changer. It has allowed us to be competitive, to bring officers into our department. We have a good young staff. I'm looking forward to working for Zach next year and having this new crew. We've been able to, for once, bring a city officer to the county instead of losing them. I almost had two. I was this close. Maybe Zach will do that next year. But I really feel like this council and all the people that's been through it, and especially Mike and Kay, you guys have been game changers for the Sheriff's Department. And all of you have been wonderful to work with. I'm pleased to call all of you a friend. When I'm done, I'll still be around. Anything I can help you guys with, I'd be happy to do so. And just thanks for everything. And I really feel like as a team, we move things forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your service, Sheriff.
Thanks.
Thank you for your service too. Okay, clerk's office, clerk's perpetuation. Amount requested $1,316.19. This is for wages, payroll. Is there a motion to approve?
That's just a shortfall for the year.
Somebody made a motion, I think it was Bob.
Bob, did you make it?
Yeah.
Bob made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Mike,
John seconded.
was there overtime or something, or what was the overage?
No, it kind of was a result, if you remember the year before in budgets, we took one of her employees and put him in clerk's perpetuation, and that first payroll of the year came out of there because it was for the last 2 weeks of December, and that, Lisa didn't account for that.
Okay.
So it's kind of an unusual thing from the year before in the hiring freeze.
All those, we have a motion to second it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. 6 ayes, motion carries. Veteran Service Officer, amount requested $1,258.62. It's for payroll. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for veteran service.
Kay has made a motion to approve the additional appropriation request, the amount of $1,258.62. Is there a second?
No second.
John second, thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries, 6 ayes. Okay, we got a transfer request from Betty Jones. She sent the letter, says, I will be attending the state called conference at the time of your next meeting. Please be advised that our office requests that money be transferred for the purpose of purchasing chairs for our office. Some of the chairs were eligible for reimbursement and were purchased with 4D money funds already budgeted for office equipment. Our extradition budget line has $2,000 that was not used in 2022. I have tried to recover extradition funds by placing liens on bonds or requiring defendants to repay the fees as part of a plea agreement. I respectfully request that you approve the transfer of $2,000 from extradition to office furniture. Thank you so much for your consideration. Betty Jones, Fayette County Prosecutor.
I'll make a motion, we approve the two transfers, the $1,000 from account 30503 to 40401, and the deferral fees fund, the $2,000 from 30503 to 40401.
Thank you, Scott. Scott's made a motion to approve the two transfer requests, and $1,000 each, resulting in a total of $2,000. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Bob seconded, thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay. So another transfer request from the Veteran Service Officer in the amount of $1,040.42. He's looking for postage for $55, travel and training $385.42, seminars and training $500, dues and subscriptions $100. Is there a motion to approve?
Is this for pay again?
No,
Yes.
no, it's pay?
Yeah, yes, so.
Okay, there's that. Motion to approve? Or disapprove?
Well, I'm just questioning how the two shortfalls came about, or when, or,
A misunderstanding of how many hours she was allowed to work.
oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the,
Thank you, Kay. So motion to approve. Second? John, second. All those in favor of approving this transfer request to the Veteran Service Officer, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Caldwell.
Dirt and water, I mean, soil.
This is for soil and water. I request transferring funding from our travel and training fund 30120, $650 to be transferred to other supplies 20290. This is, it's hard to anticipate some of the things we end up doing after the budgets are set up, and this is funding we would like to transfer. The other transfer is from the same travel and training fund, 30014, $104.99 to the other supplies, 20290. Mike, I make a motion to approve. I'm sorry?
I told Mike I'd make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Jim has approved, made a
Yes.
motion to approve this transfer request
For both of them.
For both.
For both of them.
Both
for both. Okay. You want $650 and $104.99. So Dave can play in the dirt.
We need that in the way.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries, 6-0.
Thank you.
Got your dirt.
Here you go.
911.
Yes, yeah. I'm just here basically to move money to end the year. So I just need to appropriate some money to end the year with my overtime and holiday pay. We've had a lot of overtime through the full-timers. My part-timers, currently my part-timers that I have, I'm competing with some full-time jobs that they have. So my part-timers haven't been able to come in. So myself and my full-timers have been taking all the shifts that are open.
Okay.
So I've kind of run short at the end of the year to pay holiday and overtime. So I'm appropriating some money.
Okay, so you're looking to transfer from radio maintenance to holiday and overtime,
That is correct.
amount of $1,600.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second it.
Okay, motion approved, was it Bob? Bob seconded it. All those in favor of approving this transfer request, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 6-0, carries.
Okay.
Animal shelter. $400 or $500? $400 to utilities to gas and diesel.
Make motion we approve.
Second.
Jim's made the motion to approve, Kay has seconded that. All those in favor of approving this pantry request, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 6 ayes. Okay, we're through all the transfers that we made.
Now, these were the reductions from the 1782 notice that we need to approve.
Okay. So we got our reductions here from our 1782 notice that we need to go through and approve. Highway Department.
Might have these are reductions for next year's budget that we approved.
So equipment was, they're requesting 75,000. Requested on is $75,000.
He left. Yeah, he's wanting to cut that line by 75,000. Like those are all, like he had to come up with a total of, is it like 131,000? So he's doing 75 from that budget, or that line item, and then like each of the next ones to add up to that 131.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve? Let's just take all three. 75,000 for the equipment fund, 10,000 from the salt fund, and 26,178 from bituminous.
There should be a 20,000 for gravel too.
Thank you, Scott. So 20,000 for gravel.
These are all reductions.
All reductions.
Because, I forget my acronyms, the DLGF did not approve.
Right.
Our budget for the.
Levy shortfall.
I'll make a motion, we approve the reductions.
I'll second it.
Scott's made a motion to approve these reductions. Bob has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 6 ayes, motion carries.
Is that it for the night?
Nope. We got Heather Caldwell. What a way to wrap up the night.
Who's seconding that? I'm sorry.
Bob.
I need to repeat it, but I still didn't catch it.
First of all, I've got a 144 for an employee who has worked for us from February to August of this year, just as a Purdue paid employee. I'm wanting to bring her on as a county paid employee to use the rest of our funds from the summer assistant line for us to work on a couple projects here at year end. So that's what my 144 is for.
Temporary position.
Correct, yes.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Scott's made a motion to approve the 144 request from the Extension Office. Kay has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 6-0.
Thank you. Contractual services, we did get that signed by the commissioners this afternoon, so that is now officially signed and approved. That will be sent to Purdue. The increase was matching what we talked about at budget time, so that is all the same. And then just a quick update on some programs we're doing. We have revitalized what we call Extension Kitchen on TV3. So our new HHS educator, Stephanie McCurdy, she has started that back up again. So if you search YouTube, TV3, Extension Kitchen, she and I are on there.
I've seen it.
It's pretty fun to do those, and John Podley is so great to work with. So if you want to check out what that looks like, give it a search, and it's maybe 25 minutes or so, something of that
It's your
nature.
second career, right? Acting?
That's right, that's right, yeah. So we had a good time doing that. Stephanie's doing a great job. She's really, she's fitting in well with our office. She's working really hard. She's making new connections, good partners. So she's doing a great job. Our 4-H enrollment numbers right now are pretty typical for this time of year. Opens October 1st, closes January 15th. We've got about 130 enrollments right now. We typically have 515 by the time we're done in January. We've got a promotion going on now where if we get 250 enrollments by December 16th, which is half our enrollments, Stephanie and I will get a pie in the face. So far, you know, we've got about 100 to go, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, if we don't get to 250, I don't get a pie in the face, but the reason for our promotion of this is because the January 15th deadline is a statewide deadline. And when kids and parents are enrolling in January, when everybody else in the state is as well, there's lots of hiccups in the sense that people get kicked off the system, or it takes forever, or they get what I call the wheel of death. You know, it just takes forever, and people get frustrated. So we are really trying to encourage people to get it done early to prevent some frustration. So we'll see how it goes, but we will Facebook Live. I think that, let's see, December 16th is our Friday. That next Monday, that's when we will do the pie in the face. Denny the elf from the park is going to come and do it like he did before. So we will. I mean, I do hope we get that many enrollments. And then just a few programs we've been doing. We did a PARP yesterday, a pesticide applicator training that applicators are required to do. I offer that program once a year. We had about 35 people there yesterday at that. That was a good turnout. I always do that in December for people who forget that, oh, their license expires at the end of the year, so if they need points, they can come to mine. So we did a Women in Ag program last night as well. That was in Franklin County. We went to Whitetail Christmas Tree Farm. We learned about the Christmas tree industry, reindeer industry, and then got to make a centerpiece. We've got another Women in Ag program coming up January through March. That's a 6 weeks course called Annie's Project. And Stephanie is working on a couple of trainings to get her going on some more things with HHS programming, Health and Human Sciences programming. So we should be hitting the new year running. Of course, once we hit that January 15th deadline, 4-H is in full force. Workshops, paperwork, deadlines, all that kind of stuff happens after January 15th. So we're off and running, and we're always off and running. So just want to give you guys a quick update. Any questions?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. We're enjoying it. We appreciate the support of commissioners and council. You guys have been great to work with, all of you. We really appreciate your support, your enthusiasm, your sharing of things on social media, and encouragement throughout the year. You showing up to events that we've had as well. We really appreciate that support.
Thank you for the good work you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, any questions? Okay. Is that it, Jane? Well, maybe for work. Thanks, you guys. Have a good holiday.
You too. I just have one thing to do. I think we've done this each year. Each time there'll be the change in council of commissioners. We got 2 plaques here. John? I'd like to thank you for your work and your dedication and sacrifice to your family to be here and to work on the council. You've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
You've been a great asset to the county and the council. You've always been very helpful with what you had to say and do and your ideas, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I have it for Kayla as well.
Okay.
She's not here tonight, but I texted her and told her I appreciate all the work that she's done. She also has been a great asset to the council and been instrumental in the budgets as everybody here has. And I'd like to thank all of you for it, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do sometimes. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, and I've got a plaque too, so just happen to have. And it's for your dedication too, Mike. I think you've been the president for all 4 years since I've been in here, if I remember right, unless Dale was for one, but I think you've been all 4 years. And there's a lot of behind the scene work that a president does that the rest of us don't get involved in, especially around budget time. You've done a great job like the rest of us in the council, we've not always agreed, but hopefully the end result will prove in the next decade that we knew what we were doing. If not, 10 years from now, I won't care. Because I'll be 84, so. But I appreciate working with you. I hope to see you around now and then, as with all you guys. Enjoyed working with you, and been an interesting 4 years, I think, out of the usual, you know, starting out even before I got in office. We were going through a hospital going out of business, and consideration of whether the county wanted to take it off. We've been through COVID and created jail tax and stuff, which probably is not a highlight, but I think it's going to prove to be worthwhile in the future. So, because we're getting ready to do something we probably couldn't afford to do otherwise. But I've enjoyed doing it. I won't say it's been fun, but it's been a good experience. So,
I
thank you
echo
very much.
that. Jane, thank you. Nice working with you. It's been a pleasure. Been one of the best auditors I've worked with here. So thank you for all your dedication to it.
And I was hoping all the new incoming council people would be here so I could give them.
We had a training session today, Sharon was at that over in Indianapolis.
So I could give you one bit of advice. Jane's a great asset for anything you want to know about the budget and funds and stuff. Never ask her a question if you don't want to hear the answer.
I will give you more than you want
The
to
answer
ask.
you want.
That's funny.
I also have good news for you. Zach Jones told me the jail population's down to 104 right now. Usually running 130 to 140. I said, good for you. He says everything's going great, so.
Well, I see
we're
Joey's
on the
leaving,
right
so it's
track.
going to get hard in here, so we're getting out.
Well, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe holiday
Thank you,
with
man.
your families, and enjoy your time with your families. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second. Third, fourth.
Scott made the motion to adjourn, Katie seconded it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Adjourn.
Thank you.